More of that on this podcast. Okay. That's what I'm talking about.
We'll sing for food.
Go to
farms.
We'll see for seeds.
We just lower that
Bro,
road.
this
Just a little
elderberry
bit.
drink is pretty good.
So lower this just a little bit.
Just for the visuals.
We want to see your pretty faces. And then,
Yes.
sweet, yep, we're all good. We're rolling. So whenever
We're
you wanna
rolling?
roll,
Okay. Here we
good
go.
to go.
Yo, here we are, Denver, Colorado, mile high up. Yes, it's dry. Yes, it's hot. But we are unstoppable growth with Big Green DAO. You're sitting with the Power Plant podcast that is offered here. My co-host Stephen Lucky's out there right now, probably talking about agro tech, trying to inspire folks to get down with that. But today, I have two amazing guests with me that are all about food, but not about just food, about community and just giving, man. Can you introduce yourself and your organization?
Absolutely. So I'll go first. My name is Nicole Reese. I work for Our Space World, Inc. It's a nonprofit in the DC, Maryland, and Virginia area. At Our Space World, I am the Farm to Food Sovereignty Academy Coordinator. I know that that's a mouthful, but we do a lot. So in that role, I do a lot of training up young farmers and getting people acclimated to the land.
That's fresh.
Yeah.
And who is this who's your co-conspirator over here?
It's just so shy, I would say. I'm not shy. But I'm Jae Flower, pronoun she, her, and I am also a part of the Our Space team, and I like to call myself a farmer-friendly admin. Farmers do a lot on the land. They're out there, it's hot, it's raining, they're sweating, they're doing manual labor all day, and sometimes checking their emails or sending a message or getting something printed or writing a grant. Those sorts of things can be hard to manage. So I'm the person that's like, all right, I got you. What's up? What you need?
That's dope. That's dope. So Chocolate City.
Mm-hmm. Chocolate City.
Chocolate City.
Yeah.
It was a culture shock for me when I went to Washington, D.C.
Mm-hmm.
I come from Denver, Colorado.
Okay.
And if you haven't noticed, there ain't a lot of black folks here.
Yeah.
Or at least here in this area. What's crazy is that this is a gentrified part of Denver. This was the Harlem of the West, and it's 5 points. So we had the most physicians, black-owned businesses west of the Mississippi was right here.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
Yeah.
And now you have a coffee shop.
Now we have coffee shops.
Yeah, gotta. Yeah, when we were on the flight here, I stood up and I was on the very front of the plane, and I looked back as we were getting luggage and stuff, and I said, "Oh, I think we're the only ones on here." She's like, "The only ones?" I was like, "The only." Just trying to be subtle about it. The only one.
No, I think that it's very important to say because there's a lot of space. Well, I'm speaking for myself. There have been many a situation where I was the only black face in certain spaces, and that can be quite intimidating.
Mm-hmm.
And in fact, before we start getting off into your organizations, because we're here to highlight your work,
Right.
but I also want us to be real while we're talking in these podcasts, especially as we highlight your work. Like, how difficult is it when you go into spaces where you're the only black face? How does that make you feel? How do you operate in those areas? Because some folks don't understand that.
For me, I think I think my perspective is a little different. Because I grew up in the DC area, and I grew up specifically in Prince George's County, there were black people everywhere.
Everywhere.
Right? And you would go to the grocery store, see black people everywhere. All different types of shades, hues, everything. And, when I went to college and I was the only black girl in my class at Pittsburgh, I was like, oh, this is a culture shock. But because I had that foundation of who I was, going into majority white spaces is not intimidating to me. I wonder what your perspective is.
The people here in Denver are very nice. The people here, I think it just depends on where you are, especially in this country and in our political climate. It just depends on what part of town you're. You know, like if you're in the hood, you might be nervous if it's not your hood.
Yeah.
Like I feel very safe and okay in Denver. I just like it. I like y'all folks out here. Thank you. Everyone's very friendly. The culture here is very, and so one woman was just like, it's the Midwest. It was the Midwest. But if it was like Alabama, and I just came from Alabama, maybe I would be a little, give people, but I'm also very confident and secure and just like understand the history of this country and that we're all human first and just I try to lead with grace and assume the best of people, but not necessarily in Alabama. They need to do some rebranding, like Mississippi, Alabama, Texas just needs rebranding.
Yeah.
What? My grandma was from Carthage, Mississippi. Okay? No, I'm kidding.
Yeah, but you know, like if I was in an all-white space in Mississippi, it would be a different kind of consideration.
I know,
Like, do I need to, I'd have to squat up, like, in my body, you know? But in Denver, I feel like, hey.
But that's good.
Can I have some cold brew? Like, it's just nice.
Well, good. I'm glad to hear that my city's repping out there and you feel comfortable coming into these spaces.
Yeah.
Well, let's get started off with the work that you do.
Okay.
This year, give me some goals. Like, what's your dreams this year? What are y'all trying to do this year?
You know what? I have a question for you.
Yes, ma'am.
What is your name?
I'm Staff Sergeant Mac.
Hi, Staff Sergeant. Hello, nice to meet you. And yours?
I'm Marcos.
Hi, Marcus?
Marcos.
Marcos.
Yeah.
Answer the both.
I'm like, hey, we just talking.
So, Marcos, straight out from Texas, Gardopia. I'm from Denver, Colorado. My nonprofit's called Outer Haven. I am one of the original 6 members of the DAO.
Okay.
In fact, I'm one of the last ones that's rotating off of the committee.
Okay.
And one day I'll be, we call them heirlooms.
Okay.
So,
Farmers are so corny, it's just just when you think there's no other wordplay possible, you get on a podcast and it's called Power Plant.
That's right. And luckily, yes, I have some pretty decent confidence because I was surrounded by powerful, beautiful women of color taking this spot as one of the 6 members. I was the only dude holding that spot. Surrounded by folks that have been doing the work, like legends in their community, Wande, Vero, Catherine, Ade, like just a full different spectrum, and Diana, of course, representing Big Green in her seat. So, like, it's been such a beautiful, amazing journey, and I've learned that I'm not alone in this work, which I feel is extremely important. We get siloed far too often in the work that we do, and we tend to forget that there's other folks out there that are doing that too. And how can we collaborate together to make it happen? And that's I'm hoping something that you can take from your time here with the DAO is like, how can you utilize and leverage the DAO to improve your work and also create new pathways of collaboration and networking.
Yeah, I feel like the biggest takeaway on one of the workshops, we just walked out of it was like the tail end of a fundraising workshop, but there was another one yesterday, and what she presented was this idea of how nonprofits are funding, and nonprofit does not mean free. Nonprofit does not mean struggle. We don't have to give away the food, give away the labor, give away the resources like that. It has value. And like just valuing ourselves as an org, just because we're doing good work from this heart space doesn't mean that we can't be sustainable to make sure that we can make the impact that we want to make. And so the biggest note from that one was just like 50% of organizations that are like really making money and really sustainable, they're like getting most of their money, 50% of their money from selling goods. And that 12% of them are grants. And I was like, I just feel like so many nonprofits are like dependent on grants. And so my biggest takeaway is coming out of here, going to our ED and saying, all right, how can we get off of this grant train, this grant gravy train?
Well, I got a question for y'all. See, because that sounds like that is a goal,
Yeah.
right?
Not my department, but
Well,
this is something for the suggestion.
it sounds like a goal to me. And as we go into goals, what is your goals as far as your organization? Like, where are y'all going? What do you want to accomplish this year?
Yeah, so this year we have an initiative called the UGMA Initiative. UGMA means collective work and responsibility.
That's Swahili.
Swahili, okay.
Exactly.
Like
And
Jamal.
and so we have really been working to utilize every single person that is a part of the farm space, right? So that means collaborating with a lot of different farmers. That means getting young people interested. That means talking to builders, talking to chefs, talking to all of these different players that are in the food scene and working together collaboratively in order to really make a change. Because what we've noticed is that a lot of farmers work in silos, as we were saying earlier. They work in silos. It feels heavy. It feels like all this responsibility is on me. I'm responsible for this whole thing. This is overwhelming, right? And so what we have done in our initiatives is we have showed that you can have squads of land stewards go to a farm and make something shake. And at the end of the day, we'll spend 4, 6, 8 hours there. At the end of the day, every single farmer is like, wow, like I've been doing this by myself this whole time, and I don't have to do that. And we have been very adamant on letting them know that they have community. That if they just keep in touch, we'll keep in touch with them. We're all going to be working together. We're all going to be considering each other in our day-to-day, and that's going to make the farm life a lot more easy, and that's going to allow us to all collectively move towards food sovereignty.
Sounds like some unstoppable growth going on.
Yeah, we're growing. One of our guiding principles is an old Kenyan proverb that sticks in a bundle are hard to break. And so it's about collaboration, it's about coming together. So we have our academy where it's a workforce development program, and you come in not knowing anything about farming, and you come out, you are a production farmer. Entry level, but a production farmer, and we're helping you to find placement with other farms and other jobs. And then also kind of making sure that you know there's other ways outside of but being a production farmer where you can work in the ag space. We also are launching our Black food truck on October 16th, maybe October 12th, shout out to Jimmy, where the farmers in our co-op will give us their produce, we'll buy their produce, and then we'll, like an ice cream truck, go around DC and Maryland to sell the produce. So really making sure that the food
Where's your
comes to the
stopping
people.
spots at?
I know, right? Not my
You got a
department.
list right now? Like, how can we be there for that?
I would love to have you there. We should drive to Colorado. Like, we should do like a road trip with the Black food truck. It's gonna be
dope.
It's gonna be tight. It's gonna be tight. It's a really sick truck too.
It is.
Like,
It is. It has all the
like
bells and whistles.
refrigerated.
Yeah.
And you open it up and you play the music. And I'm like, that's great.
That's dope. That is dope. So, I heard a lot just now, just different ideas and things that you want to do. I already hear like economic ideas happening that you're implementing. How do you think you can leverage the DAO to, whether it be the collective knowledge, like what you just sat through, or even some of the partnerships or potential, networking collaboration opportunities, maybe here that you've met. Can you kind of talk about that? Like, who did you meet here? Who was like, yo, I'm inspired by, or you just struck a light in my head on this, and how can we collaborate on that? Like, can you kind of walk me through that a little bit?
Yes, I met this wonderful woman, Jeanette Lewis. I think that's her last name, Jeanette Lewis. She's
Out of St. Louis, Missouri? Is she out of
Yes.
St. Louis? Yeah?
Yes.
Okay.
And she's phenomenal. She's the ED of her organization. I can't remember what organization she's from right now off the top of my head. But she was just telling me the day-to-day operations and the goals that she has. And one of her goals is to have, to empower her staff to recognize that they are in a cooperative, they're in a collective, rather than where all of the power is lateral instead of hierarchical. And we have been playing with that in our organization as well, and trying to figure out how we're going to make that sustainable, and what are some resources and things that we can look to in order to make that dream a reality. And so I'm excited to keep in touch with her and others who are trying to kind of reinvent the wheel when it comes to how we work, and changing the structures, that the powers that be, the things that we have been doing in society for hundreds of years, and flipping it around and making it work for us. So I would say that's my biggest thing that I'm.
Okay.
I don't know, I'm really shy.
You just said you wasn't that shy, so.
No, but I am like people shy. I'm not like camera shy. But I am people shy.
Okay.
So I can't really speak to that. I just feel like for me, the presenters and the knowledge I'm getting from the presentations and meeting people and hearing what they do. But after we get past that, who are you? What are you doing? Who am I? Then I politely check out.
Okay.
So I can tell you a bunch of people
Well,
I've met.
I'm gonna tell you
Shout out
this
to
right
Rustic
now.
Roots.
I'm gonna tell you this right now. Like, within the DAO that you're a part of, like, follow through is gonna be everything for us. And for this idea of like flipping philanthropy, like we've already done that. We flipped philanthropy. We put it on its head. We've got frontline grassroots organizations over here deciding on how money is distributed, right? But now it's, look at this tool now that you have, and instead of when you're going out for them grants, or you're trying to get things, maybe a federal whatever, or some foundation out there, now you have the possibility of having like 80 to 100 organizations come together to help boost your numbers to grab, whatever that particular grant or movement that we want to do, right? Like, we started off with 6 members that had their hands on that wheel to drive this thing, right? And as I step down, my hand's still gonna be on that wheel, just like your hands are on that wheel right now. And that's what I really want. I would want you to take home with you, is that you have a vehicle that you can steer with the rest of us on what we want to do collectively. So like your time being here, we talked about infinity groups, we talked about synergy, we talked about networking, partnerships, all these things for sure. But at the end of the day, I could talk to you till I'm blue in the face, but if there is not action that goes with my words, then it means nothing, right?
Absolutely.
So like for us, after we leave from this space, like I want us to work together in some form or fashion. You know what I mean? Like if that's us collectively come together to put our data together, like, granted, I don't have a huge operation, that's for sure. I got 3 little bitty places that I steward here in Denver, Colorado to grow food in, okay? And I'm on my own little mom and pop shop, but we recently produced 1,000 pounds of food with 3 different areas that we grew food in, with kiddos from West Colfax. So, like, whatever I can do to help improve whatever numbers, or letting folks know as they go for grants, like, not only will it affect this area, like, we're in 42 different states, as a collective, and we need to leverage that. Like, we are making change.
Yeah, absolutely.
So how do you see yourself within the DAO, and how can we collectively have you reach your goals and potential out there in Chocolate City?
Bad pitch.
Okay.
So bad pitch is this thing I do in our staff meetings, and wherever, where it's like, this is an idea, and it's not necessarily the best idea I've ever had, but here it is, it's bad pitch. What if, of these 42 states, because I'm on this whole I don't eat mangoes kick, because I feel like mangoes aren't local, so I'm trying to like eat local produce. Like I really be like, when I see pineapples, I'm like, disgusting. If I can't grow it,
you out there in Hawaii.
if it didn't come from down the street, I don't want it. I'm like all about apples right now. Anyway, from those 42 states, like, I might want an avocado from California. And I don't know what you grow in nonsense, but for the food truck, thinking about the food truck, the
Peaches.
same kind. Yeah, we got peaches yesterday.
And
So-
grapes.
You gotta know your produce. You know what I'm saying? So the same way that like Big Ag has these huge trucks and these huge things and this like distribution network, like we pull for Black Food Truck, we pull from our farmers and of course, right, like all the farmers in the DMV. But what if we also pull from the DAO? And it's like, here are some Colorado peaches in Southeast DC. That bitch.
That would be dope. I like that pitch. That's pretty dope.
And then we'll get another truck and another truck and we'll go on a tour and we'll have concerts and we'll just sell food. I'm all about selling the produce. I'm all about training the consumer or teaching or converting our consumers to understand the value of eating food from local farms. And that's going to take work. When people give away food, that's just not to those in need. I'm not like that person, but just like I think there are a lot of people out there who have the means to buy local, but don't have the interest, and they don't see why is this kale
Like, what's the
$7
value of
when I
that,
can
yeah.
get $3 kale at Trader Joe's? It's like, 'cause that's disgusting. And because my friend grew this, so run me my money. You bought those shoes, you know what I'm saying? You could buy this kale. So I'm interested also in that, like how do we change the way consumers consume food? That
I like that pitch. That's pretty fresh. That's fresh. That's fresh. What about you? What's your vision? You don't know yet?
I don't even know yet.
Trying to understand it all, or what's up?
I'm not sure. I think one thing is that, of course, to continue to stay in touch, to network, right? Stay in touch with one another. I think also sharing resources and not hoarding those resources. You know, if something comes across my desk, if a grant comes across my desk, making sure to spread that word, right? Because I think a lot of people are like, I think we need to get out of the mindset of like, oh, this is my money, and like hoarding, this is my money, this is my grant, and we need to collaborate more on grants and other opportunities. I also...
That's not a very capitalistic mindset. That is a very, seems like Eastern,
we're very cooperative,
African, village type of
it's very
economic
village.
structure.
Yeah, it is.
Our
It
program
is.
is called the Ujima Initiative.
Exactly, it is. And you know, I think for me, it's like, we have to do something different. This food system that we have right now is not working. It's not working because, like Jae Flower was saying, you go to the farmer's market and get kale. That kale is $7. It really should cost $37 if we're going to be serious.
Yeah.
If we're going to look at all of the things that
were
went
poured
into
into
exactly the soil
growing
amendments,
it,
the labor, the everything,
safety, the transportation,
everything. And so we have to start looking at our food system differently. We do. And that's going to take us changing our mindsets. It's going to take us stepping outside of the box in ways that we have never thought about before.
And that's how we empower our urban farms. Like, it's not by, here's a subsidy and here's a grant so you can make some money. Like, you sell a valuable product. So we need to get our consumers to get with it. If we keep, I don't want to enable these businesses that have the potential to grow if the consumer just would purchase. Like, we have the supply. We don't have the demand.
Yeah. Okay.
But all the money and all the intention is about the supply. Let's hold these farmers.
I like that. So we've been tackling, the economic viewpoint and some of the challenges that we come up against. There's no doubt about that. But I also had a deep interest in just like the mental health aspect of working in the nonprofit area, being a leader in your community, being women of color, and dealing with the stresses that come with balancing, all of that. Like how do you guys balance that? You know what I mean? How do you balance like running the biz, doing your thing, and then, obviously regular life stresses come, there's no doubt about that.
Yeah.
But it's, to me, sometimes it seems it could be overwhelming when you have the demand of like, you're feeding folks. So like that comes, that's like life or death as far as I'm concerned. You know what I mean? That kind of hangs over me a little bit when I know that like, man, I got these babies out here and they starving. You know, how can I, you know, help them out? It could be very overwhelming. And that's just one aspect besides like just finding grants to, you know, pay yourselves, pay the you know, the folks that are involved with you, and ensure that you guys are thriving and not struggling. Like how do you address those stresses? How do you de-stress? How you do it?
I'll go first. I would say I have worked in previous jobs where I have run myself to the ground, and I have made a commitment to myself to never do that again. And so I know how to say no, right? I think that there are, especially in the nonprofit, the philanthropy space, there's this idea that I can fix everything, right? For me, I have told myself years ago, I cannot fix everything by myself. I cannot. And I can't put that on my shoulders. I can't say to myself, oh, I'm going to feed all of DC. Absolutely not. It's unrealistic, right? And I'm not going to set myself to that standard. But what I am going to do is come up with some realistic goals and execute those. What I am going to do is use my community and collaborate with one another in order to make the greatest impact. But I think that what that was it was a choice that I made years ago so that I wouldn't burn out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm glad you came to that.
Yeah.
Some people don't have that. Like
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
true.
I like to say first and foremost that I don't identify as a woman of color, black woman first. Like it's a part of who I am, but I'm a creator, I'm God. And it's very important to pull from understanding that we're spirit first. We are just like that. That's it first. All the other stuff is just depending on where you are. So I think pulling from that gives me what I need to make it in any situation. And I do want to say shout out to Aita. And with the work that her and Quavina are doing, those are our directors at our space world, that they're doing, we have a workplace culture that is so not white.
Yeah.
Like they really mean it when they say it in every single way. Money is not the point. 9 to 5 is not the point. Like, I'm like, I gotta get this done. She's like, yeah, get it to me when it's done. Everything I learned, because I came from the startup world, corporate startup stuff, like everything I learned there has been flipped. The urgency. She's like, okay, girl. But we still get it done, you know. We just applied, put a grant in yesterday, you know what I'm saying? We're training 8 Academy members right now as we speak. Well, I don't know what time it is in DC.
Yeah, everybody just
as
wrapped
we're
up.
It's
working,
wrapping up
you
over
know,
here.
the work is wrapping up, but we're training young people. We just had new Academy members. We got a food truck that launches in a week. What else? We have Ujima Collabs. We have a co-op membership. We have a partnership with a food bank. You know, that's a paying client. You know, like we're winning, and we are not. Nobody's stressing me. I don't know if you ever feel stressed, but nobody's stressing me, and I just.
She just said nobody's gonna stress her. How she
Yeah,
made
but
that commitment to herself a long time ago.
And that kind of like, that's probably why our space even came to you, because you made that decision, so you attracted an org like our space. Like it was a workshop today, I'm telling you, this workshop. That was about organizational.
For those who didn't see that, that was a okay.
Yeah. It was on organizational resilience and that kind of thing. I was like, I don't have those kind of problems. Like we don't do that. We don't do that. Like money not the point. Like we as Black people, as land stewards and people who are supporting land stewards, like if we have 5 farmers, it's 7 admin people specifically to support our farm team. Like who does that? Aita does that. Aita does that.
So that leads us into our next question.
Okay.
I walk into your gardens. What's your garden sign gonna say?
Oh.
That's privacy. No, I'm just
What
kidding.
is it gonna say?
Yeah, what is it gonna say?
What?
Okay. Is this our little garden? Somebody.
No,
Oh, okay. You mean
no,
like
no,
personal?
your garden,
You
your
mean like
personal
our space
garden.
world or mine?
Yeah, yours.
Those are two different answers. But mine would say if you could feed yourself, you can free yourself.
Feed yourself, free yourself.
Mine would say there is no culture without agriculture.
Ooh,
And that is
that's
Elder
hard.
Baba Aduno.
Yes.
Aduno Tariq, rest
Yes.
in peace. He passed away last year. But he is a great ancestor that we lost last year in the DMV area.
Yeah.
Who's a farmer and just full of knowledge and just also a walking library in that way. I mean, this man had 4 memorial services.
Yeah, 4
Four
memorial
memorial
services.
services. That's how it was like one for the family,
Yeah.
one for the farmer, one for both the family and the ag world. Like he's that guy, and just rest in peace, Baba.
Wow, rest in peace. So, how in the world can we follow you? How can I be a fan? How can I donate? How can I get involved? If I'm in DC, where do I go? Like, how do we get in contact with y'all?
You can follow us on Instagram, Ujima DMV. That is UJIMA-DMV. You can definitely volunteer. We do something called Ujima Collabs, where we partner with farms and bring out folks to work and learn. Like, so it's definitely an exchange of information.
Yeah. Yeah. You can also donate. You can make a monetary donation. Go to ourspaceworld.org and you can donate from there.
Yeah, you know what? It's been a privilege to sit down with y'all and I get to learn a little bit about where you come from and what y'all do.
And lastly, you could also hire some of our graduates. So we
Yes,
just started
okay.
the Academy training program this past year. We're on cohort number 4. So we've graduated about 10, 12 people, and it's about once they have the skill. If you are hiring and looking for skilled labor,
Are they down to move though?
I don't know. I'm not,
I'm
but
just saying.
what's up? Maybe if it's in the Mid-Atlantic, because we know farming like regions, climates, but Mid-Atlantic folks, please hit us, and we want to make sure that our folks, when they graduate, that they can get job placement.
Exactly.
Well, that's fresh. That's fresh. Again, like, thank you for sitting
Thank
down with me.
you.
You know, I came literally out of the blue. You know, I've been eyeballing everybody, so I've been trying to get as many folks to sit down and share their
Nice.
stories, because I feel like storytelling, especially for the work that is done here and what we do, like getting those different perspectives are extremely powerful and important.
Absolutely.
And I love to hear about organizations that are like down like y'all's, man. Like
Top
I wanna go work for y'all.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I want to get my little farming degree with y'all, you know?
Me too, shit.
Well, don't let this be the last time we sit down and we talk. And if I ever have the chance to go out to Chocolate City, I am going there and I'm going to visit y'all, see your work, see the folks that you affect and the great works that you're doing it, because y'all sound like superheroes to me right now. And I know the work is being done because you're here. And don't forget, let's get that follow through. Let's work together. You know, let's make this thing happen. This is Staff Sergeant Mac.
This is Jae Flower.
This is Nicole Reese.
And you're listening to the Power Plant Podcast. We'll see you next time.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Hey, Marcos, that's a wrap. I went on.
Shout out